Oh, just headed in for the daily grind, man. And what better way to start it than on a 2017 Indy Scout 60. I think really I'm growing attuned to the colder weather of the fall months already. You know, I haven't ridden anything above 75, and I think the average will probably be about 55 degrees Fahrenheit. And you know, it's funny to think that this year I started out my first trip on the bike. I didn't really take it until it hit 90 degrees, which was an early 90 degrees, mind you, in I think it was June or late May. Either way, my boss was in town from Oregon, and I'm looking at my weather app while we're having some kind of idle conversation, and I see 90 degrees for a 3-day stretch, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So what I ended up doing was taking the Thursday and the Friday off, gave myself a 4-day weekend, headed down to New York City, then, you know, out through the Pennsylvania countryside, back up through New York, upstate New York, through Vermont, back home, and I made it like a 4-day kind of cruise weekend. Had a lot of fun. Had some experiences too. That was just before I bought this fine piece of machinery, and I had my old clanky Harley Sportster 1200 Roadster. So the story behind that was I was in New York City and sitting in Brooklyn in traffic, and I was lane splitting and all that. I actually, while I was lane splitting, had a cop turn his blues on me. Got away with it, made it over to New Jersey, but not without issue. So anyway, what happened was I hit some kind of pothole in the road because roads down in New York City are complete friggin' garbage. Not really the place you want to be motorcycling. It's just ridiculously horrible. So I hit this pothole, and probably about 30 seconds later I go to find my brakes, my rear brakes, and it's like all I hear is a on the wheel. I'm like, oh fuck. I thought maybe I had like air in my lines and it just was like barely touching the disc, but that was not the case. What actually happened was the caliper just like busted up. It came completely apart. I lost my rear brake pads, so I had to suffer through New York City traffic with nothing but a front brake. That was horrible, horrible feeling. 5 o'clock New York City traffic at that. I mean, I'm just talking like noon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or 11 in the afternoon, 11 in the morning traffic. I'm talking 5 o'clock, rush hour, and I'm lane splitting. Some debris in the road, man. Don't want to hit that. So anyway, I get over safely into New Jersey. I'm about 15 minutes from my hotel. So I'm about 15 minutes from my hotel when I get over to New Jersey, luckily. But I'm like stuck down there now. I'm not gonna ride home with a defective motorcycle. At least not if I don't have to, I won't. So anyway, pull up on my phone where the nearest Harley dealerships were, and there was one in the same exact city I was in, less than 5 miles. So I call them up, say, something's wrong with my brakes, can you get me in real quick to check it out? And they're like, nah, man, oh man, I'm so sorry, bro. I mean, we're kind of at the time of year, we've got no openings, man. I'm like, well, this is kind of an emergency, dude. Can't you help me out? I'm like, 500 miles from my house. Maybe not quite 500, but I'm well over a few hundred miles from my house. And nah, bro, we can't do nothing for you, sorry. And I asked him if there's any other places around. He's like, nah, no other places. I'm like, you fucking dick. So I go over there after arriving at my hotel and kind of like contemplating for a little bit. Take a look at the brakes. Like I said, the brake caliper is completely friggin' disheveled. So the pin that holds the brake pads fell out. Brake pads are gone, obviously. And it was just a clusterfuck. So I go over there to the Harley store, Ask them what they got for brake pads. Ask them if they got the pin that holds the brake pads in. No, they have the brake pads. And what ended up happening was I had to go over there and buy an entire caliper and do it myself because they would not get me in to work on it. So I had to take the caliper from there the next morning, go over into the Home Depot parking lot after buying probably like 20 bucks in tools, and do the work completely on my own. A-hole. That woman in the blue RAV4 was going to cut me out. So yeah, I'm over in the Home Depot parking lot doing the work all on my own. And I got through it and I did it fine enough, but the fact that I had to do a hack job in the parking lot, it was an experience, right? But what I'm actually pissed off about is the brand loyalty that Harley Davidson customers give to that company, and the fact that they can't do emergency repairs that would take them probably 15 minutes to repair, and they'd probably make a good chunk of change on it. They couldn't do anything for me. So that's when I decided I'm never buying a Harley Davidson again, because there is no customer loyalty here whatsoever. So I rode around on the Sportster for a little bit, came back, bought an Indian Scout. And I guess I actually don't expect customer loyalty or loyalty from the brand to the customer from Indian, but I mean, that's really why a lot of people buy into Harleys, is for the brand, right? Harley Davidson customers tend to be the most loyal of customers to any bike brand, so I think it would be reciprocated with a little bit of common courtesy, but no, so fuck them. And that, boys and girls, is why I drive an Indian, for one reason why I drive an Indian and not a Harley, besides performance, obviously. Hey, you know what? I'm a little early. Let's stop at the Bucks to get ourselves a nice grande mocha. Friggin' Starbucks, man. They got all their sizes are large. Tall, grande, venti. I'm pretty sure they all mean large.